Happy Saturday, everybody. Here I am again. Today we're getting saucy. I just finished frying these delicious shrimp, and it was so simple. It's pretty much what we did last week with the fish. So I just dredged them in some seasoned tapioca flour, tapioca starch, and fried them in some coconut oil. And you can see they just get this nice, light, crispy coating. And then I just squeezed a little fresh lemon on top. The trick to this that makes them so easy is I used pre-cooked shrimp. I bought the pre-cooked shrimp frozen in the bag. I thawed them out, blotted them dry with paper towels, and just went ahead with everything else that I just described. And they're cooked in 2 minutes each side. And now I'm gonna make a delicious aioli to go with these shrimp. And let me tell you something about aioli, okay? It's a fancy word for flavored mayonnaise, okay? So what we're gonna do right now is a caper aioli that's gonna go with these shrimp. So all I have here is about a cup of mayonnaise, and I have some capers that just come in a jar. I'm just gonna add about a tablespoon of capers, and I'm letting some of the juice go in because I think the brine from the capers gives it a nice, briny flavor. And I'm just gonna use a spoon to stir those together. And also the brine helps to loosen up the mayonnaise and make it a little more like a sauce, okay? And then I just like to give it a little squeeze of lemon. Do you know this trick? Whenever you are gonna cut a lemon, roll it on your cutting board first. It kind of pulls the flesh away from the outer skin a little bit, and it gets those juices rolling before you cut into it. And then I just use my hand as the sieve. My hands are clean, I just washed them, I promise. So that's about a tablespoon of lemon juice, and you can see I'm just catching the seeds in my hand. And I'm just gonna stir that in. And I might just save this for an appetizer later because my daughter and her husband have also been quarantining in their house, but today's her birthday, so I think they're gonna drop by for a little bit. And you can see it just makes a nice, lovely sauce. It still has some nice body to it. If you like more capers, put in more capers. You know, none of these recipes are exact. And when you dip the shrimp, you get that nice caper creamy flavor. And they're crispy and delicious. That is so good. Okay. The next thing I want to show you, as I'm chewing, involves my food processor. This thing is a beast. It's got to be 20 years old. They don't make them like this anymore. So pardon the look of it, but it still runs like a top. Who's here? Hi, Sherry. Taisha. Hi, honey. So all I'm going to do with this recipe, which is so not a recipe, it's one of my no recipe recipes, is I'm just taking some roasted red peppers from a jar. You know what these look like, right? Okay, and a little bit of their juice, about a tablespoon of juice. I'm just gonna put them in the food processor, and I'm gonna puree them. This is literally red pepper puree. I like to start by pulsing a little bit, and then just turn it on and let it go. I've just recently gotten my new order of Kasandrinos Greek olive oil, and it's just to die for. It smells so fruity. The color is amazing. And I'm just putting in a tablespoon of that to loosen it up just a little bit more. This is delicious on grilled vegetables, grilled meats, pretty much an awesome sauce, awesome sauce to put on anything you like. And you can see that it's just become a nice puree. Another thing you can do with this is another trick. I don't know if you know about this, but when you're using your food processor and you go to dump into a bowl, you know how that blade always falls out and splashes everywhere? Do this. Stick your finger in that hole underneath and hold on to that blade. Now when you pour, it just stays in place. So I'm just gonna scrape the rest of this out. It's got a beautiful bright color and it smells amazing. And you're literally doing it from something that's already done. Now, if you wanted to spice this up even more, I love this kale pesto from Trader Joe's. It's just kale, cashews, and some basil. There's no cheese, a little bit of olive oil. It's considered vegan, and trust me, you will not miss the cheese. So sometimes I just like to add a little bit of this. So I'm just gonna take a spoonful. You can see it's a nice thick green. You can literally use this right out of the jar, out of the container. I'm just taking about a tablespoon and I'm gonna stir that in. And now I have a delicious red roasted pepper pesto sauce. Again, you know, it's so delicious on meats, and we're gonna grill some flank steak tonight, and I'm gonna serve this with the flank steak. Do we have questions? Michael Valarelli, hello. Hi, everybody. I've got more than just my Whole30 group on here today. For those of you that aren't doing the Whole30 with me, let me just catch you up a little bit. I am a certified Whole30 coach. We're in the middle of a Whole30 group at home, which means that we are on day 13, which means we're over the hump. And it's all downhill from here. We've been eating completely Whole30 compliant foods, which is fruits, vegetables, meats, fish, fresh oils, healthy fats, and you can't believe how much better you feel after you've been eating like this for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, we're gonna reintroduce one food group at a time, and then we can tell if we have any reactions to it. And then you decide for yourself if you wanna have that continuing on in your diet, or if you just wanna leave it out. Or sometimes it's just worth it to eat it and pay the consequences, but it's food freedom. It's up to you. So if you ever wanna try a Whole30 with me, let's go, because it's changed my life. I've been doing it for about 5 years now. I just recently got certified, so it's official, and I think you guys would love it. It's so worth it. Yeah, it's hard, but you know, there are a lot harder things in life, okay? The next thing that I'm going to do is other aiolis. As I said, aiolis are basically fancy mayonnaises. So really, you can take a cup of mayonnaise and you can add anything you want to it. Like the kale pesto that I just used, go ahead and add that to a mayonnaise. A sriracha, you know how I love this sriracha, because this yellowbird sriracha is sweetened with dates, so it doesn't have sugar. It's totally Whole30 compliant. A little bit of this with the mayonnaise and you have a delicious sauce. You can also add things like the kale pesto, pesto, that's a better word, to the olive oil and just have a nice sauce to drizzle over things. So that's, I mean, so quick with sauces, right? The last sauce that I'm going to show you today is what I like to call the Far Out Far East sauce. And I just mix this up in a jar. So I'm gonna start with a 1/4 cup of avocado oil. Now, if you go on the website, the recipe is doubled. I'm just doing a small version of it for you now. 1/4 cup of avocado oil. Avocado is a very healthy fat. It is a high smoking point, so you can fry and cook with it. And it has a great, really mild flavor, so you can cook with it without it really affecting the flavor of your food too much. I am so sorry I can't read these questions because I'm so far away from my phone. Hi, Michael again. Hi, Leanna. So the next thing after the oil is coconut aminos, which, as you know, is a great substitute for soy sauce. Soy sauce is, of course, a legume and also contains gluten, so we don't eat those while we're on Whole30. This coconut aminos has wasabi. It's from the new Primal, and it's absolutely amazing, and it will add that punch of flavor to pretty much anything you're making. I also gave this about a tablespoon of fish sauce, a little sesame oil, and some rice wine vinegar. Now, rice is a grain, but the rice wine vinegar is compliant. So we're just gonna add that into the jar. I also have some dry, so this is gonna be some granulated garlic, some dried onion powder, and some Chinese 5-spice powder. The reason why I'm using the seasonings rather than fresh is I don't want those chunks. And if I use this sauce on a grilled item, I wouldn't want the garlic and onion to burn. So the dried makes a much better option for that kind of thing. This is chicken bone broth. You can use water if you want to keep it vegan, or just use the chicken bone broth. I think that it fortifies it and gives it a much nicer flavor. And finally, you know my trick to grate fresh ginger. Just gonna use my grater right into the pan, right into the cup. All the skin stays on top and all the ginger goes in. And that's about a tablespoon. Just gonna clean that off the bottom and close this lid and shake it up. And you just keep it in the fridge like this until you're ready to use it. As I said, the recipe on the website is double. You can also throw some sriracha in this if you want to give it a little heat. However you like to do it. None of these recipes are exact. Make it work for you. So that's sauces for today. Quick and easy, very simple, and actually, I'm gonna show you one more. This, can't not do a Greek dish, right? This is tzatziki, but it's non-dairy. So what I did is I bought the Greek almond milk yogurt. So it's nice and thick, okay? And I have a big clove of garlic, if you can see what I'm doing. I like to just smash it with the side of the blade and then chop it. I'm gonna get these out of the way. I'm not sure if they're in your way or not, because I like you to see how I do this. Once I smash it with the blade, I mince it, get it nice and minced up, and then I add a little salt, and you know how I am about my salt. I'm using Maldon sea salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle it over the top, and the salt is gonna help draw out the liquid. And now I'm just gonna smash it with the side of the blade, going back and forth until it makes a paste. And this goes really fast. You know how Greek I am. But unfortunately, dairy and I don't get along. So I've been able to reimagine this tzatziki recipe with almond milk yogurt. And if you use the Greek style almond milk yogurt, I think it's hard to tell the difference. Okay, this is getting really nice. You can see it's like a paste. So I'm just gonna throw in about a tablespoon of that, a little more, you know, because we like our garlic. And I'm gonna stir that together. And now to replace the fat that usually you get out of the dairy, I'm just gonna add about a tablespoon of olive oil. And again, this really fruity olive oil gives you such a delicious flavor. Some fresh lemon. And of course, we love the zest. And finally, some fresh dill. Dill's one of the things I'm not growing in my yard right now, so I just bought this little box. That's about enough. Dill is one of those distinctively Greek flavors. It goes great with fish. And I'm just gonna give that a quick rough chop and drop that in. And you know, don't just use this on your gyros, not gyros. You can use this on a hamburger, a lamb burger. You can dip grilled steak bites in it. You can make Greek nachos with it. But don't have pita bread when you're on Whole30. And that's the tzatziki. That's all I had for you today. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna see if you have any questions. Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's so fun to see some of you that I haven't seen for a long time. Check out my website, livingdelishandnutrish.com. Visit me at the Whole30 website under Certified Coaches. And have a wonderful weekend. Take care.